你好，我叫 Thierry Leroy，我是法国人。
你好，我叫 Sophie， 我是以色列人。
你好，我姓米，米饭的米，我的朋友们都叫我老米，我是英国人。
你好，我叫克里斯汀桑德拉，霍伯文。我的中国的名字是莎莎，我是德国人。
你好，我叫西方，我姓朱，我是法国人。
我叫 Colin May， 我是英国人。
我叫金美珍，我是美国人。
我叫高典，我是日本人，我在UIJJ 公司工作。
我学习汉语3年了。
我学了普通话1年左右，我非常喜欢我的老师。
我学习汉语差不多3-4年了。
我已经学习汉语3年了。
我已经学中文6个月了。
去年就去韩语的。
我来的中国快要1年了。我来中国的时候，一点汉语也不会。但是我在很小学校学习中文。我现在已经通过了 HSK 5级。我深深的爱上了汉语。
我在深圳住了已经2-3年了。I had many funny incidents in China regarding the Chinese language.
我觉得发音很重要。我重视发音和听力。我的老师经常纠正我的发音，所以我的发音越来越标准了。我觉得有意识的多听多说很重要。
Very good. I had another teacher before this, and I think this has been much more successful at helping me learn. And I think it's because instead of just learning little pieces or just learning the couple of words that the book teaches, instead here they give me more words around one topic so that I can understand a full conversation. And if somebody real was to actually talk about this subject, I could actually understand what they were saying as opposed to just the 5 sentences that the book teaches me.
我有汉语课跟Hanbridge 老师，每个星期2次，一次是1个半小时。我也有很多作业，每天学习，所以我不但学习听和说。我也学习读和写。
The methods I've used have been primarily online and face-to-face. Face-to-face almost exclusively with Hanbridge. I chose Hanbridge because the response that I got on the telephone when I rang to inquire was the best of any of the companies that I rang to speak to. People could talk to me and advise me, and also the idea of having an introductory class where I could see the techniques and meet some of the teachers was very useful indeed. In many ways, looking at the various aspects of studying Chinese in terms of learning the vocabulary, pronunciation, the grammar, and also to some extent the writing Hanzi, which I particularly like, but I'm not very good at yet.
My teacher used different methods, which was very good for me. One of the most important methods was to use speaking repeatedly, to speak and to practice and not to be afraid to use the words again and again and to speak. Even though you make little mistakes at the beginning, you use it continuously and then your language improves.
The methods we've used have been many. We've done lots of conversation around the lessons, so we've covered 12 lessons so far. We've used the learning within those lessons to apply it to other situations as well. And the best things we've done, we've actually been into restaurants, practiced some of the things that we've learned in the lesson. I like the flexibility of the lessons. We try to apply lessons at the same time every week, but my work sometimes gets in the way, so sometimes we have to change things. Hanbridge have been very good at reorganising that. The other thing I particularly liked was the extra lessons that I had on pronunciation and just the general way that people from Hanbridge behave and their attitude, all very friendly, very helpful. Always want to try and suit the customer.
Saya 按照我的汉语的老师或者是挺好的，我感谢他，因为他准备汉语最重要的汉字。
我来到中国，当然要学习中文。我的公司有很多中国人，所以学习中文帮助我跟他们交流。平时我喜欢跟他们聊天，和他们慢慢的变成朋友，这是我的最大的收获。是公司的要求，公司要求我考 HSK 4级，但是我想拿出更好的成绩，所以我考HSK 1级，并且我以很好的成绩通过了 HSK 5级。明天我就要考 HSK 6级。会好好加油。
有的时候我不用汉语，但是生活中，汉语的帮助很大。我也觉得汉语很有意思，特别是汉字，尽管这是很大的挑战。
中文是我的第四语言，我不是英语，我还会说法语和西班牙语。我喜欢学语言，因为我想了解中国文化。
我喜欢聊天，我想和中国人说话。深圳人经常不会说英语，学汉语很有意思。
Well, in my daily life, in as much as I go shopping, I take my children, my child around, I go to the post office and just general living, it's very helpful. I believe that it's the only way to really learn about China is to be able to understand the language and to be able to understand the way Chinese is written.
And I like the Chinese way of living very much. So learning Chinese, to speak Chinese, is one of the most important things to mingle around the Chinese people, to get to know the country, the culture, and the people.
我对中文感兴趣，因为我觉得会说汉语很有用。我会说汉语的话，我可以和别的人交流。我一直觉得，中国的历史很长很有意思。
I'm in China for 1 year and I wanted to learn some Chinese to show respect for my hosts here at work. So that's the main reason that I've been doing it. My team at work have had great fun with my learning Chinese and trying to speak, and it's helped me to encourage them to learn to speak English better as well, which will be a benefit to them in their long-term careers. And now I can go into a bar and I can order a beer and egg fried rice without any worries. It's eating pizza.
汉校有很多活动，比如说去年我参加过县级比赛和汉语角和中秋晚会，所以Hanbridge不但帮我学习汉语，也帮我了解中国文化和中国人的生活。
I have been to a couple of the extracurricular activities that Hanbridge has organised, and they were superb. One in which not only was there a lot of singing and dancing and cultural things, but also they taught us how to make jiaozi, so that was also very interesting. Have I got any stories to tell you about learning Chinese? No, no stories. The most amusing thing for me as an Englishman is that telling a joke, it's obvious that there is quite a difference between the Chinese sense of humour and the British sense of humour. Our humour is a little bit, perhaps, more rudimentary than the Chinese. Perhaps the Chinese is a little more subtle.
I can remember one incident when I was sitting in the restaurant and I ordered soup. So, to my surprise, the waitress brought me a very big bowl of sugar. I was so surprised because there is no connection between soup or sugar. But the next day, my teacher repeatedly helped me overcome the different tones between the words soup and sugar in Chinese. Both of the words have the same English letters, but when you pronounce it, it's different tones. It sits on different tones. So for the Chinese ear, it's very usual. For my ear, it took some time to learn how to say soup and not to get sugar instead. It has benefited me so much that I can hardly express how important it was for me. Not only getting around in every place, in the supermarket, in the metro system, on the road, on the streets, with friends, with people I know or those I just occasionally meet them. But it also made me feel a little more belong to this place.
所以Hanbridge 不但帮我学习汉语，也帮我了解中国文化和中国人的生活。
Actually, it's more than that, because the people at Hanbridge are always available, welcoming, friendly, very professional, and that's the full service package as far as I'm concerned. And the fees are not unreasonable. They're what you would expect for a service of this kind of quality. Yes, and I already have done. So I would say if you haven't already signed up for Hanbridge, then now's a good time as any to do so. Thank you. Bye-bye.